Welcome to another great Photoshop tutorial. This time we're looking at a basic introduction into the features of cs6, and I'm just going to run through the features on the side toolbar here and just show you how to work some of the basics. So first of all, we've got the selection tool, and that allows us to move any pictures around. If we click up here and show transform controls, we can adjust the size. We can also use the rotate if we just hover the corner over and change the symbol. So yeah, we've got that. Let's just apply that transformation, then Control Z to go backwards. So that takes us on to the next tool, which is the selection tool or marquee tool, and you've got a number of different selections here, and you can draw a square and cut that out, Control X to cut it out, and Control V paste it into a new layer and move it around if you want. You'll notice that some of the good features of Photoshop include sort of quite a good snap feature where it'll snap back into the right place. And if we look over here, what I'm just going to do is just click both these layers here and just right click and go merge layers, and this is just going to flatten down the two layers again and just give us the one layer. Now the next type of tool we've got is a lasso tool, and there's a couple of different features with the lasso tool. We've got the simple lasso tool, which will lasso round and take that out if we want. We've also got the, just put this back in position. Oh, that's not quite right. It's not quite right either. Oh, doesn't seem to go back in. Just Control Z that. Control Alt Z steps backwards. So there we go. Right, the other tool is a Polygonal Lasso tool, and that gives us more of a straight line that we can draw around, and same again, we can cut that selection out. Now quite a good tool and quite a difficult to use tool though is a magnetic lasso tool, and if we zoom in, what's happened to our line there? Just made a mistake with putting the piece back. Anyway, the magnetic lasso tool actually allows us to follow along a line, and as you can see, it starts to automatically, when we go quite slow with the mouse, it automatically lays around the selection, so that can be quite good. Escape to just cancel that. Now next we've got the quick selection tool. Now this is quite a good tool for selecting. Again, this will select colours, so as you can see, we can select sort of large sections of colours here, and large parts of the body or similar colours and selections. And what you can do as well is you can come up here and you can use the plus and the minus, and the minus will remove part of your selection. So if you want to zoom in just to a specific area, you can do that, like that. And yeah, that's how you use the selection tool. You've got the magic wand tool as well, which is quite good. That's similar again, except that's tries to sort of pick out areas and colours. So there we go, we've got some nice areas that are getting picked up there. There's quite a good one, and you can combine them as well, and come back to the quick selection tool, select on minus and minus it down. There we go, we've managed to select our dress there quite quickly, so that was quite good. That's a good example of the tool there. Now we've got the next one, which is a crop tool. That's quite self-explanatory. You just draw a picture and or just select a section and it pretty much just allows you to rotate the picture and then just right click and crop it excuse me, to that format like this. And then we've also got a perspective tool, which will help us. If we right click and say crop, that changes the perspective. Just come back here. We've got the Eyedropper tool as well, which is perfect for picking up colours, and as you can see when we click on the different coloured areas, it shows up as a different colour here. So if we want the white flower or part of the green stem or the pink of that flower, then that will show up. Now this tool here is a spot healing tool. Now this is good for larger pictures where you've got skin tones, and as you can see we've got sort of a skin tone, a good close-up skin tone here. So I'm just going to show you a bit of a smaller brush here. The way the skin tone works is similar to the crop tool, which I'll explain shortly, but it kind of takes the skin tone from the close area, and as you can see here, if I just undo that and redo it, you'll see the difference there. So that's with the skin tool, that's without the skin tool. So again, if we just go gently around there, we'll get a sort of close, as you see up here around our eyebrow here. See how there's some of our eyebrows, so it kind of takes the pattern from close to where the actual size is. So we need a bit of a smaller one. I'm just going to try and there, that's a nice effect there. So that's sort of lightened up the area around. There's what it looks like before, and then there's after the skin tone tool. What's it called again? Spot healing brush, that's it. Skin tone tool, same thing. So it kind of lightens up the skin area sort of close by, and just allows us to really lighten up the skin. So as you can see though, sometimes it it doesn't work that well. There's a nice one as well there. So it does work well if you use it in the right area, and it can help sort of remove blemishes and lighten up the skin as well, or darken the skin depending on where you're taking the tool. So what have we got next? We've got the brush tool. Now this is just a simple drawing brush tool, and you can come up here and change the size and change the hardness and change the type of brush end here, which is quite good. And you can see we can get different brush effects here and different strokes as well, and you can get quite a hard stroke as well if you change this up here to 100. And so as you can see, that's different from this one. It's much stronger, and that's similar as well to the pencil tool, which really is just a sort of quite a fine and hard surface. That's always at 100 for the hardness, and as you can see, that's quite a strong pattern there. So the next thing we've got is the clone stamp tool, and that's a good tool for sort of copying areas to other areas. So for example, if you were wanting to copy sort of, just going to get a bit warped out here, but if you wanted to copy sort of her mouth area down to this mouth area here, or put her lips down here on her mouth, you could easily do that. And as you can see, when you just draw around with the tool here, it just copies that area around and gives you a nice sort of copy effect there. And you can change the tool as well, and as you can see on the top eye, it gives us the cross, and that just sort of follows the image around where it's going to be. And you can always sort of change where your location is. Like for example, if I want to take that eyebrow and put that over here instead. There's over here in that corner there. You know, so there you go. You can combine sort of different elements of an image, and the clone tool is particularly good for skin tone blemishes or removing spots, or like if I'm wanting to actually take some of our eyebrow out, I can do a constant sort of click in and just copy the areas from around where our eyebrow is, and use that. There you go. Doesn't she look pretty? Right, what's next? Heart brow, I have no idea what that does. The eraser tool is next, and that's if you're wanting to rub out areas. Quite simple. Again, similar to the brush tool. You can change the size of it and rub whatever you want out. And there's also the background eraser tool, which allows you to come up here and protect your foreground colour. So for example, if I've got my foreground colour as pink and I try to rub the pink out, it won't work. Whereas if I bring my rubber around here, or my eraser around here, around the pink object, it rubs out everything around that colour. So that's quite good for real accurate erasing. And as well, you've also got the magic eraser tool, which sort of selects large chunks of areas and magically erases them. So that's very good as well. Now next you've got the gradient tool. Now let's just actually make a new layer here, and the gradient tool is just a tool that you can use to make a large background area change colour. So what we can do is we've got the foreground pink, background white, and if we click up here and pull down, it gives us a distinct gradient, and we can see how we've rubbed out that area previously, and that now shines through and comes through with the part that we rubbed out. So yeah, that's the gradient tool. You've also got the paint bucket tool as well, which will allow us to fill in large chunks of with our paint. What's it called again? Paint bucket. Yeah, that's it, with the paint bucket. So that's quite good as well. Don't want to do that. Now next we've got the blur tool and the sharpen tool. Now these are tools that you can use to like darken certain areas and sort of smudge and move around. Really, it's for you to have a play with. Let's see. Yeah, it's not very easy to see sometimes, and the smudge tool here. They're smudging our nose out a bit. There, gives us a. There you can see the difference there. You can smudge areas around and play with that. And you've also got the next one down as the dodge tool and burn tool. These two sort of really lighten. There's the dodge tool, and the burn tool does the opposite, that darkens. There we go, really add a real darken around our skin tone. And the sponge tool, that sort of mixes the colours and adds some moisture in, and that gives her a nice effect. Now here's the pen tool. This is quite a complex tool for sort of drawing complex shapes sort of over and curves. This allows you to make very accurate vector drawings and outlines and of different shapes and things, so that can be good as well if you're wanting to do outlines. You right click on that and stroke path, and then you can come on and use the brush tool, and that then gives you a brush outline around the area that you've done. So that's quite a complex tool. It takes a bit of practice with. Then you've got the font tool. That allows you to just draw a box sort of area around where you want to type, and you can just type away there That's quite easy to understand. What's that? That's just the selection tool, I think. Yeah, just a selection tool. The line tool allows you to draw some shapes, and again that's just gonna, it's easy to use. It's just different shapes, and it needs to be set up here for shape. There we go. So that just gives us different shapes and allows you to choose what size of shape you want as well, and you've got a whole host of different shapes there as well. The hand tool for movement, and there was another tool as well. Where was it? The red eye tool. I looked that out especially earlier on, and got a picture for that. Where is that? Up here. There it is there, the red eye tool. Right, so for this one, when you come over, it's really good for pictures. If you've taken a photo and you've got a red eye, all you need to do is draw a box around the eye area, and that just automatically changes it. So that's quite good as well. So yeah, that's an introduction to Photoshop. And the other thing as well is, if you want to set your foreground and background colours, you just double click there and just choose which sort of colour you want to use. It's just quite easy as well. Click on the foreground or the background, but there's easy and quick ways to get there as well. You can use these sliders here and change your colours, and yeah, that's really the basics of Photoshop 6, and I'll be looking at some more advanced tutorials in other sessions.